Welcome to Behind the Muscle podcast. Today's guest is an IFBB pro. Today's guest is Nathan, the Prophecy DeAsha. Nathan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
For sure, my man. So we're going to just jump right into a couple questions I like to ask all my guests. So the first question, Nathan, that I have for you is, who are a few of your favorite bodybuilders of all time?
Ronnie Coleman, Flex Wheeler, Marcus Rule.
All right. So tell me why Ronnie Coleman number one?
Ronnie Coleman, probably the greatest ever bodybuilder to live on the planet. Kept it real. And, you know, he's 8-time Mr. Olympia. Don't think that will ever be exceeded by anybody. And the amount of weight he lifted back then, he was just, you know, he was way ahead of his time, way ahead. So for me, that's the reason I chose him.
Cool. And then talk about Marcus. I'm assuming because he was just a straight up freak, huh?
Yeah, because back in the day, I started bodybuilding. I think there's a video company called MVC or something. Marcus Rule had a video called Big and Loving It. He's with his wife training. And he just kept it real, goes in the gym, you know, basically trains, comes out, has a cigarette, you know, talks about getting on the ale, drinking, living life. Just something I thought, you know, back then was real. You know, I see a lot of bodybuilders nowadays, you know, taking bodybuilding too serious, you know, not scared to enjoy life, live, do what they want. And for me, Marcus Rule, besides being a natural fucking freak, like myself, I believe, just down to earth and just didn't give a fuck.
There you go, man. I love it. Just keeping it real, right? No need to beat around the bush. So the second question I kind of like to ask all my guests is, at what age did you start lifting weights? And then why did you start lifting weights at that age?
Started lifting weights roughly about 18 years old, 18, 19. I was playing football for the professional team. I got told I was too small for the position I was in. I'm only 5'9", you know, and at that time, the guys, you know, either side of me was 6'3", 6'5". I was fast, but, you know, at the time I was still very, very skinny. You know, I was like 9 stone something. The guys then were bigger, taller, and heavier. So, you know, I got into lifting weights. My cousin was into Arnold Schwarzenegger. I didn't know who the fuck he was back then. I'd never had a clue. And he said, look, you know, come to the gym. And my uncle gave me a gold book, a blue book. Basically give me that book, and then he said to me, you know, look for the book and go lifting weights. And when in the book, it was like 30 pages, and basically for the whole 6 months, I've done all 30 pages every day.
Excellent, man. Excellent. So that kind of leads us into your backstory. And I've heard you on other podcasts talk a little bit about your backstory or your childhood. But just for the listeners on Behind the Muscle, just touch on your childhood a little bit. I know there was a little bit of struggle and stuff like that. So where did you grow up? And just why don't you share the kind of the entirety of that childhood up to those teenage years?
Yeah, man, I grew up in a city called Toxteth. It was a very deprived, multicultural place. A lot of immigrants lived there. It was run down. 95% of people were on government welfare, pension, state, whatever you want to call it. There was no escape from life to be successful. Schools didn't give a fuck if you went to school or you didn't. Education was bad. We idolized, you know, armed robbers, drug dealers. We wanted to be like them. I did myself. We wanted to just make quick money. And at a young age, that's what I've done all my life. You know, make quick money. Didn't give a fuck who I hurt, who got in the way, and what it was about. As long as I was fed, had clothes on my back, my family had stuff, I didn't give a shit, you know. Leading up to my years, you know, we got told to only way you're making out of the area is if you play football or you can sing or something. I'm tone deaf as fuck, but I'm very athletic. Every sport I ever do, I excel in it. I've done football, done very well in that. I've done athletics, 100 meters, done very well in that. Taekwondo, fought for my country in that. So everything, you know, every sport I picked up at, I was fairly good at. So for me, you know, I realized I sported my way out of the shithole that I was living in. My mum struggled a little bit, you know, but she done the best she could. I come from a big family. At the same time, you know, we were all there to help each other provide and give what we could. We didn't have the best, but you know, we struggled. But we may, you know, back then you didn't realize you were struggling. You know, you just didn't have it, and that was it. You know, obviously. And then growing up, I went to jail several times. My friends did. I had several friends murdered, died as well. So, you know, at a young age, where I was from, the life I was living, my idea was if I lived till 21 or 25, I'm successful in life. That was the road I was going down, you know. And I played football, even though, you know, I got told I could be a professional football player. At the time, the money wasn't good. It was on a youth project, which was, you know, £100 a week. I'm having to get the bus, and I'm still doing what I need to do as well. But some of my friends, you know, walking around with Rolex watches, you know, Helly Hansen coats, Lacoste tracksuits. Here's me, you know, just doing what I need to do on a weekend and playing football, and it didn't pay off. So I got into the life of crime, basically. Everyone knows, I'm not going to deny it. That's the life I lived, and then went to jail. Like I said, I went to jail a couple of times, and I came out one time when I was 18. Kept on football because I was good at football. And the teams, even though I knew I was getting in shit, still took me back. And then I got told to get into bodybuilding. I was like, yeah, good. I'm good at it. I don't give a fuck. You know, let's go in the gym. And you know, we fucking trained like kids would. I only trained to look big on a weekend so I can get girls. That was the only thing, you know. And that's where it led us to competing at 18, 19 years old.
So before we kind of get into all things bodybuilding, I want to ask you, did you have any strong male influences in your life, or were you kind of on your own in that regard?
No, I didn't have no male influences. I don't know my dad. You know, I had my uncles around me. You know, they were all working class lads, guys, all done well for themselves. But the circle I was in, people weren't working, you know, so I didn't look up to my uncles. You know, they had money and they had a good life. But my friends and their friends had more money than my uncles, you know, and I'm 16, 15 and wondering how's that possible, you know. And so the people I looked up to were the lads and guys who were hustling, you know, on the street corner, driving BMWs. They're the guys who influenced me, and my cousins who were doing the same thing. That's at the time who I looked up to. I know now looking back, it was the wrong way to go. But when I was younger, I didn't know no difference.
Right. You mentioned going to jail a couple of times. You know, did that do anything to you in terms of like kind of make you think about the life that you were living, or was that just kind of a part of the life that you were living, if that makes sense?
It was part of the life I was living. You know, I got told, go to jail. It's hard. It'll turn your life around. I went to jail, and sorry to say, but it was piss easy. It made me a worse criminal than I was at the time. You know, I was just in jail for fighting. I love to fight. That's, you know, I think a lot of lads do at a certain age. I love to go out on the weekend and have a good scrap, or, you know, do whatever I need to do. But I got told, oh, it's scary, it's hard. And for me, it was just piss easy because I like to be by myself a lot of the time. I like to do my own thing. So, you know, sitting in a cell, watching TV, 23 hours a day, eating my food. I was like, yeah, fucking do this. I was like 16, 17. Like, I don't give a fuck about this. But then, you know, the last time I went to jail, I ended up doing like three years. And it came to a point to where I was like, I had a girlfriend. I felt sorry for her coming to the jail every weekend rather than my mum. And to be honest, you know, I was on the phone to her every night. You know, I had my own phone in jail. And then I realized like lads in the background talking and friends who were there. And I realized, you know, I'm missing out on life. You know, I'm stuck in this shithole. I'm missing out on things. And then I got out of the jail that time. That was the final time I was in jail. And then I had my son. And then from there, I thought to myself, I need to do something. You know, I can go down the same road I'm going. You know, I can have a shitload of money, but then at the same time, you know, I'm prepared to do 10, 15 years in jail. You know, I was and I was like, no, I couldn't do that. My good friend at the time, just got 25 years, literally before. Basically, I've been off for a few months, got 25 years, and I thought, fuck, that ain't for me. You know, 25 years is a fucking long time. I thought, like, okay, 10, end up doing 5, you know, get home on 4, good behavior. But then I thought 25 is just too long for me. And I said, fuck that, you know. I got on the straight and narrow, said to Mrs. I have my son. I said, look, I'm going to fucking give this this bodybuilding thing one good go and see what happens, you know. If I get a pro card, that's a turn pro, make some money out of this shit, see what happens, you know, with turn pro, with my son watching there. Then at the time, I thought, okay, let's just see where this shit can take me, you know. And slowly over time, I got better at it. And basically, I'm here today. Won 8 pro shows. I was told I wouldn't win one, you know, but for me, that even just winning one of them 8 in my eyes is successful in being here today, you know.
100%, my man. So let's talk about it. You said you started, you competed like when you're 18 or 19. So did you, how were you exposed to lifting weights? Was it through a buddy? Was it through jail? How did you actually, you know, find the weights, so to speak?
So my cousin Daniel knew I was playing football. I got told I was too big. I got told I was too small, sorry. He's into Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like, yeah, you know, put this shit in your ass. I was like, what? He's like, put the shit in your ass. Like, what? He's like, oh, it's sustenance. It's like, I don't give a fuck. It's like, I was scared of the needles at the time. He threw it in my ass. I was like, oh, like a bitch, crying. And then basically, I started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I was training with him on a regular basis. I was still doing football, but then people started noticing, like, you know, this fucking kid's gaining 20, 30 pounds and he's still fast. What the fuck's going on, you know? And then I failed several drug tests, football, and then I got bored of it. And then my friend, Darren Smith, said to me, would you do bodybuilding? I was like, fuck, that's gay, man. That's gay as fuck. You know, these guys in a fucking pair of a G-string, basically, in a G-string, tanning up on oil lands, fucking, where I'm from was gay, you know? It's like, not against people who were gay, but people like, oh, it's fucking gay. As like a saying. But he's like, no, you know, you get loads of pussy and shit, and it's good for you. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. So he showed me a video, and camera phone just come out, like all the girls there's like, yeah, bro, I'm into this shit. I'm into this. And I went there, and then that show was called the Pendle Valley. That's probably one of the only trophies I still have to this day. And I won the show, and then I'd done 2 years competing back to back as an amateur. I won 42 shows back to back in a federation called NABE, and a few like local unregulated shows and stuff. And you know, we done well. I was into it at the time. You know, it was good. The guys who I was into it with were older. You know, they were doing their own, like I said before, they were doing their own little side hustle and stuff. And you know, that was the circle back then. You know, the bigger guys are always the guys who were making the money. You know, back then. So I was in that little clique, and I got to, you know, the guys saying, come on the door and stuff and work here and do this, and give me little opportunities. So for me to mix with them was ideal in what I wanted to do at that time, you know.
For sure. So when did you kind of get wind of the IFBB and kind of realize that was the direction that you want to take your bodybuilding career?
So there's a guy called Sean Davis, Dinosaur Davies, everyone calls him. He was helping me, you know, one time do a show, and he said to me, would you be coming, would you be willing to go to Jersey? And I said, I don't give a fuck. He's like, they're gonna pay you things like £1,000. Like, what for? For getting on stage in a fucking trunk? He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, fucking do it. So I went with Sean, and then basically there's a woman, I forgot her name, woman bodybuilder. She was a judge, but at this time it was a federation called UKBFF. So I'm from the north of England, and that was also NABE was like my thing. UKBFF was like a southern thing, so we didn't really fuck with that. So she judged, she said, look, you can do a guest pose, but would you be interested in doing the British finals next week? I was like, I don't give a fuck. I was like, whatever. She's like, yeah, do it. So I said, okay, cool. But to qualify, you have to win the juniors over here. No one was in my class, so I just guest posed as my first ever guest pose. And then literally a minute later, I was doing the junior class by myself. So I won the junior class, and then I went to Nottingham for the British finals, UKBFF, and then I won that. And then I got roped into doing the UKBFF, and I got told the whole, like, you can't compete for NABA and UKBFF NPC at the same time. I was like, why? Like, I didn't know the whole politics of it. I was like, why? I was like, you just can't. So, okay, cool. So, I competed, and then I stayed with them. And like I said, then, I was younger. I competed as junior. I went to jail for 18 months, came out, done the intermediates, won that, went to jail, came out, and then won the Open just after I'd done the London Marathon, won the Open, and got my pro card. And then since then, I've just stuck with the NPC.
What year did you get your IFBB pro card then, Nathan?
I think it was 2015 or 16.
Okay. So at what point, when you kind of started this whole bodybuilding experience, at what point did you, in your own mind, not what other people are telling you, but in your own mind, at what point did you say, okay, like, I'm pretty good at this, and this is something that I'm going to continue to pursue, like, as a career? At what point in this experience did you kind of have that in your mind?
When I competed at the Body Power show against Rolly Winkler, and I believe it was my pro debut, and I should have won him. I had Kai Green, that Robin Lynn, Dana Bailey say I should have won him, and a few other guys saying I should have won him on a pro debut. So, Rolly at the time, he was a top 4 Olympian, and I thought, fucking hell, I just got close to Rolly Winkler. I didn't even know, I barely knew who he was, to be honest, like, until I started training with him. And I realized he was that good, and then people were saying I should have won him. So I thought, I'm quite good at this. I've won all these amateur shows, but I've just got next to an Olympian. I'm kind of good at this shit. So, I said to Mrs. like, if I get a sponsor and things work out, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a year. If nothing works out, then, fuck it. I've done a pro show. Who gives a fuck?
Right. So you had your pro debut at Body Power, and you got second place to Rolly, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So and then talk about what show was your first win on the IFBB circuit?
Was 3 weeks later at the Vancouver Pro Show, because I'd done British Grand Prix. A week later, I'd done New York for my first time. And then I went to California against Steve Kluko. I should have won Steve at the Cali Pro. And then I was about to give up. And Chris Cormier said, no, just go to Vancouver. You're in shape. Get a little bit of a paycheck for yourself. Who knows what will happen, And I went there, and then I won Fuad Abiad, and got my first qualification, my first year to the Olympia.
And what year was that then?
I think that was 2017.
Okay, cool. And so that's pretty wild, man. Like, you make your pro debut, you get second to Rolly, you compete at a few shows, you win one. Your first year on the IFBB circuit, then you qualified for the Olympia and competed in the Olympia. Was that kind of a whirlwind year for you, or are you kind of a chill guy and you just kind of go with the flow and it is what it is?
I wasn't too phased. It's just even to this day, to me, it's just bodybuilding. It's just, to me, it's just going to the gym with the lads. For me, I'm just better than my friends. We just go to the gym, we eat food, we train. When I diet, a lot of the guys we train with diet. I just get in shape quicker and grow a little bit quicker. So for me, the whole bodybuilding experience is more of a friendship thing. As I'm older, it's more of like a secluse thing. So rather than go getting on the piss, we just go gym and train every day. So, even though I wouldn't say I'm a bodybuilder, it's, I compete, but for me, it's just me and my friends having a good time.
I love that, man. That's definitely a different, unique perspective, Nathan, and I really appreciate it. So, what was the first Olympia appearance like for you? How was that experience? I know you're just eating and lifting and hanging out with your friends or whatever, but being at the Olympia, especially the first time, being a pro and everything, your first Olympia experience, it had to be pretty special, wasn't it?
I didn't like it. I thought it was bullshit. My friends all come, they're all excited because I got to Olympia. The year before that, I was talking to Justin Compton, and I said to Justin, I'm gonna do this show. Justin like, oh, I'm going to do that show myself. And I said to my friend, I'm going to, I bet you £1. It's like $1. So I'm going to go to the Olympia next year. So I was laughing. The year after, I'm at the Olympia, but I thought it would have been a lot more friendly. If I'm honest, the only person who took time out for me at the time was Dallas McCarver and Jocelyn Norwitz. We were all newbies. The older guys, probably, we had to earn our stripes. I don't believe in that. I think it's a lot of bullshit. If a new guy comes now, you treat them the same way you treat everyone else. What's happening, buddy? You good? How's things? You looking good? Have a conversation, even more so than the older guys, because they're new, they're nervous. And then from that time, I just clicked with Josh and Dallas, and we just kind of kept our own little company. The older guys were doing the whole covering up shit and hiding the body and hiding the legs. We ain't going to change in half an hour, bud. Get your clothes off and do your fucking pump up. That was my motto. So you ain't going to change. But I think as I got better as a bodybuilder, the guys started talking to me more and accepting me more. I think they were like, oh, these new kids can't just come in and think they own the place, but just give them a little bit of respect. End of the day, you're there and I'm there. Okay, you're a lot better than me. I understand that, but still, we're still here. We're still the same place, right? We're still equal until we get on that stage. But I wasn't nervous. I was out the day before. A lot of the guys are walking around with their feet up. I was out the mall shopping. I was in pool parties. I was more happy to go to Vegas, to be honest, than go to the Olympia, And at the time, my coach, Askar, was saying, rest up. And we're phoning, where are you? You got to eat a meal. I'm like, oh, I'm in the mall buying some Jordans. I was just enjoying it, And the experience for me, my family to go there was great. Backstage wasn't the best, but then getting on the Olympia stage was good because my friend Darren, who said to me a long time ago, look, Nathan, you'll be an Olympian. That his what he said came true. Basically, I'd never thought it'd come true, but it did. So, for that to happen, it was awesome.
What did you place at that first Olympia or not?
I got 12th.
Okay. And your best finish at an Olympia is 7th. Is that correct, Nathan?
Yeah, 7th. Yeah.
Okay. Now, before I've got some other things I want to touch on, but since we're kind of already on the Olympia topic, you qualified for the 2021 Olympia. And then last weekend, correct me if I'm wrong, you just qualified for the 2022 Olympia. Are both those statements correct? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Now, are you competing in the 2021 Olympia or not?
No. I've just been I was at the embassy yesterday. Basically, the exemption form, which I applied for, NI, something that was called. Basically, bodybuilding isn't seen as an elite sport to get an exemption. So therefore, I haven't got a quarantine. So, unfortunately for me, I can't go to the Olympia. Well, everyone knows the situation. I missed it last year. Year before, I ain't too phased. It's just another show. There's money to be made elsewhere at other shows. Okay, I'd like to be there, but I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. It is what it is. I chose to do the Arnold UK. That was my Olympia after all this COVID crap because, for me, every year my family goes to the Olympia with me. My family, my friends, every year we go to the Olympia. So for me to go to the Olympia by myself is shit because I'll be staying in the room by myself. Okay, my coach is there, but it ain't the same. For American guys, they can all say, yeah, it's the same, but they're not in the situation with COVID. If they brought the Olympia to England, let's see how they would react, and how many pros would turn up then. I think it'd be a different matter. So people are jumping on the bandwagon and choosing why. Me, I chose my family rather than I chose my fans, and my family come first. And I could have placed top 3, top 4 at the Olympia, but I won the Arnold in front of maybe 150 friends and family. Without being arrogant, 90% of people that was there, out of the 5,000 were there to see me. So that was my Olympia. I won't get more people watching me than that show, and I took that on the chin. I understood that the last 4 weeks. But when I signed the contract for the Arnold, we didn't have the flight restriction. We was an amber country at the time. And then COVID made us a red. And now all of a sudden we can go to the US the 1st of November. So it's kind of bullshit, really. And the embassy as well don't see bodybuilding, which is a pro sport, okay, a pro pageant, let's say, don't see it as a reason to give me an exemption. So, I've dealt with it. I knew the consequences a few weeks back. So as I said, I'm not going to cry about it. It is what it is. I'm going to live another day. My family's going to live another day. My kids are happy to to speak to Arnold on the TV. We've got an Arnold trophy, but I've got the glass one now. I aim on getting the steel one next year.
So, are you planning on competing at any other shows this year? Or are you going to just shut it down and focus on 2022?
Nah, bro. I compete, man. Like, I'm an athlete. I'm a bodybuilder. I'm not one of these guys who compete once a year. I think it's total and utter bullshit. Because for the simple fact, even for myself, years ago, I love football, right? And I couldn't travel to games because I couldn't afford it. But I could go to my local game. Now, as a pro bodybuilder, people pay for me to go to shows and to compete, right? So if I'm in shape and a company's going to pay for me to go to Prague, Italy, Spain, then and I'm in shape, I'm going to go, because not everyone and them countries can afford to travel the world. Not everyone in them countries can go to Mr. Olympia. Not everyone of them people can go and watch an Olympian. So as an athlete, I believe you should do the tours. You should go there and compete as much and as regular as possible. And Chris Cormier told me, bro, the fans will respect you more for doing more of the shows than winning an Olympia. You want to win the crowd and win the fans rather than win a trophy. And that made sense to me, and everywhere I go, people respect me because I stay around, I shake hands, I take pictures. I'm there. If I can go to a show, I will. I think that's what a lot of guys should do, rather than, I'm going to have 8 months off season. I'm going to go do the Olympia. Well, if the Olympia traveled, then I'd see things differently. But it's stuck in the US, which that, again, to me, isn't the greatest thing, because I have a lot of guys from Saudi. I have girls from my gym, Hannah Banks, who's an Olympian, who's struggling for the visa to go to the Olympia. She's qualified numerous times, but her country, Poland, won't give her the visa to go there. So I believe, for her, she has to do other shows, and it'd be better for a lot of people, the athletes, if the Olympia traveled, but it's not going to. So if that's not going to, for me, I'm going to travel for the people who want to see me,
I love that, man. So what's the next show you're planning on doing then, Nathan?
Italy, which will be next week. And then Prague. And then my friend's doing a show the week after Prague. I'm not sure what it is, but they've got a bodybuilding show. I said to her, I might do that with her as well. If I don't, because every time I go to Prague, I always eat a lot of food. I said, if I'm not too fat, I'll do the show with her as well, Gemma Lancaster, she does women's physique. So it'll be a good trip with her, to go there and to train and to compete with her as well.
For sure. And then next year, then once we kind of flip into 2022, is your main focus going to be competing at the Arnold here in the States, or what?
Yeah, I want to do the Arnold. I've got I said before, I've got a plastic one. Now I want the steel one. I believe I could have got it this year as well. So I want to get my hands on it, and then everyone knows, you win the Arnold, you're the front runner for the Olympia. Same as Nick Walker this year. That's just the way it is. So to win the Arnold, you're going to get it no matter what. You're going to get a first call out. You're going to get to stand with the champion. So for me, I've got to win the Arnold, and then I get that that first call out.
Do you believe personally, like deep down within yourself, do you believe that you have what it takes to one day be Mr. Olympia?
Yeah, I honestly do. You have guys that are bigger than me. I understand that. But, I showed this year against Rowley, I'm big, I'm aesthetically pleasing, Okay, I have long lats, a long torso, but I have muscle, I have, nice round muscle bellies. My ratio flows. I'm a lot more bubbly than people. The look, I believe, is better than these bigger guys. So I honestly believe that I can win it. Without tooting my own horn, I can place. I honestly do believe if I was there this year, I believe I would have got top 3, top 4 minimum, and then that would have put me in the front run for next year.
Excellent, man. You're not tooting your own horn, dude. You're just speaking truth. And if you want to be a champion, then obviously you already know this, but you've got to have that confidence in yourself, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's just you being real, and I appreciate it. It's a breath of fresh air. Now I want to go back to somebody you brought up, Chris Cormier's name a couple of times as you were chatting with me. Has he been somebody that's really been a mentor to you within the bodybuilding community? And if so, talk about that relationship, please.
Bro, Chris is the only older generation bodybuilder that's ever took any time out with me or spoke to me. Chris gives the time to anyone. He came to Q8 with me last time. He told me many things. I should always, if I'm in shape, always compete, always go on the tour, make sure you stay behind for every single fan. And he also told me, don't be like him, because I'm like the modern day Cormier, I like to party, I like to go out, I like to get shit-faced. And Chris said, don't make the same mistake I made, but at the same time, live your life. Chris said, people will respect you for being you. He said, never kiss ass, never be a yes man for people who may want you to be, just be yourself. People are going to like you or they're going to hate you. Don't give a fuck. As long as you're true to yourself, that's all that matters. The people around you, the ones who are there for the struggle and there for the uprising. So, man, like, even at shows, Chris, always travels to shows with me if he can do. He's always on the other end of the phone. Nathan, how are you looking? What are you doing? How's your health? This and that. He's always looking out for me. He was the person who introduced me to Ronnie Coleman after I won my after I won the Toronto Pro Show. He took me for a meal, Ronnie Coleman, which for the young guy was absolutely awesome. He introduced me to Flex Wheeler and all the other guys. So for me, man, Chris, I didn't know Chris before bodybuilding. I heard about him, but I didn't actually Google him or know who he was. But for me, he's one of my idols right now in the sport, and for what he does. A lot of guys in the sport out there to make money. Chris is just out there for the love of the sport. He'll do anything for anybody. So for that, man, I've got to respect him and give him all the props.
Absolutely, man. So this is kind of an off-topic question, but just like with your personality and kind of how you are and your backstory and everything, I want to ask you this: Does anything, and this doesn't necessarily pertain to bodybuilding, but just life in general, does anything make you nervous, or do you ever get scared, or are you afraid of anything in terms of just life or what could happen or anything like that, or do you just take life by the horns?
Nah, man. The only thing I'm scared of is being a shit father. That's it. I don't give a fuck about anything else. I'm not scared about to compete. I don't care if it ends tomorrow for myself, touch with the dozens. As long as my kids can look up to me and say, that's my dad. To me, I don't really give a fuck, That's the only thing I'm nervous about, is being not being the father I didn't have. I want to be the best for my kids. That's the only thing that I'm worried about in life. The rest of it is here or there, as long as my kids respect me and I've showed them the right way of living, that's all that matters to me.
Excellent, man. How did you get connected with Oxygen Gym and that crew over there?
So the year before I went to my first Olympia, I was at the Olympia with my friend Tom. We just seen Justin Compton. I said, I'm going to do a show and I'm going to go to the Olympia, taking the piss out of Justin. He was fucking big as fuck, to be honest. I was shitting myself. And then the Oxygen crew, they came around with all Oxygen t-shirts and stuff. And I have a friend called Ricardo. At the time, he was friends with Rolly Winkler. And I said to him, what's the deal with this Oxygen place? He's like, oh, I don't know. Rolly goes there and stuff. And it's like, oh, okay. And then they walked past. So I just tapped this guy called Ascar, tapped him to, look, man, can I come to Oxygen? He's like, yeah. And it's broken down English. Just message me. So I said, okay, cool. I've done that. That was in. So the Olympia was in September, right? September. So at the time now, I was working in Domino's. So delivering pizzas and shit. I wasn't fucking around no more. Delivering pizzas and Domino's. I came into some money, and then I said to my missus, like, when my daughter was just born, it's my second child. I said, look, I'm gonna give this bodybuilding a go. I'm gonna go to this fucking place, Kuwait, see what it's about. My mum was Muslim, just converted to Muslim. I think it was like 2 years, a year before. I didn't understand the whole malarkey about it. And then my friends are going, like, it's by Iraq. You're gonna get kidnapped. They're gonna kill you and shit. Cut your head off. You'll be on the telly. All that shit. And you don't know what to expect. I didn't. I can only talk fucking Scouse. I can't even talk English. I just talk the language where I'm from. So my mum's friend, her husband was Kuwaiti. He said, look, he'll pick you up and whatnot. I said, okay, cool. So in November, I went to Kuwait. Didn't have a hotel. My mum's husband's friend picked me up, put me in this hotel. Didn't have a fucking clue where I was going. Couldn't talk the language. Didn't know nothing. Just knew I was going to this place called Oxygen. I land there. I talk to text Ascar. He's like, oh, bro, I'm in Spain. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, I'm in Spain with Rolly. I'm like, fuck. What do I do then, So he said, go to the gym. Went to the gym. Met the guy called Chemo, one of my best friends now. Met Chemo, and then I just took off from there. And then the show was like 6 months after that, my first pro debut. And I just stayed there over Christmas and New Year. It was a little bit lonely. Come January, February, my funds ran out. I think I only took like £15,000. It lasted like 3 months. It's like 5,000 a month, something like that. My money ran out. Look, I've got to go home, make some money and shit, and I'll come back. And then Bada was like, no, you must come back. I said, yeah, whatever. And then I come home. I was dying for the show at the time. And Bada said, look, we'll book you a flight for tomorrow. Come back. We'll help you financially. We'll help you what you need to be helped with. I was like, nah, bro, I don't take money off nobody. I do my own shit, like I ain't like that. My money, if I'm coming, I get my own money. So it's like, no, we'll look after you. I was like, nah, bro, I'm cool. I'll come back. Give me 2 days, 3 days. Let me sort some shit out and I'll come back. And then I went back, bro. And then the rest is history.
So has Oscar, has he been your coach then your entire pro career?
No, I was with Oscar. For 3 years. And then I wanted to try something different. I wanted to try what was different. I want to learn my body and what different things. Everyone has their own technique, right? I wanted to learn something different about me. And I was close, like I said, I was close to Dallas McCarver at the time. And the plan was for me to go out and train with Dallas at Matt Jensen's house and do a little YouTube and all that stuff, God rest her soul. And then obviously Dallas passed away. And then I was like, I'm going to try something different. Ended up going with Matt Johnson and AJ Sims. It was with AJ Sims, but then I was living with Matt's house, training with Matt because that was the goal we were going down. And then I just went from there and learned a few different things from them two guys. And then I realized, like, I like it in Kuwait. I was more focused, and it wasn't like jail. It was more like, it was, but it wasn't. I treat it like jail because it was regimented. Everything was at a specific time. Everything's at a time. And I like that because I like to know what I'm doing, where I'm at. So I went back to Kuwait, me and Matt still speak, so AJ still speak. But I just wanted to go back there and, and find myself again, and went back there and the guys accepted me back with open arms. And then now we're here today, bro, and, hopefully do some damage.
For sure. I want to talk to you a little bit about just kind of like training and your training style. What is kind of what does it look like from off season and when you're in prep? Does it change much? But overall, what is your training style? And do you do your own training, or does your coach or somebody else kind of give you guidance in terms of the way you're going to train?
So my training style is just fucking lift it. Just lift weights. just go A to B. None of this push pull stuff or FST 7, 8, whatever you want to call it these days. I just fucking get the bench press, put it on my chest, and lift it. That's it. Shoulder press to my shoulder, press it. I'm not fancy. I lift as heavy as I can. I don't keep a logbook because every day is different. I just lift as much weight as I can for that exercise. That's my whole thing. I do pyramid sets, so I'm always going heavier and heavier. Even, for example, if I'm doing a bench press and I go to 5 plates and I'm struggling, I'll do one more set on that. You know, so I'll do 2 sets on it. I always do that. Myself training wise, I do my own chest stuff, shoulders. You know, that's what my arms. I do all that myself. Obviously, I've got a weak back, you know, and my coach does that. He tells me what to do. Back exercises, you know, today we're going to do width. Next time I'm going to do thickness. He sends me over all the machines, which I copied off auction, which I have in my own gym now. And then, you know, he tells me what we're going to do for hamstrings, you know, and what we'll do for legs. He's pulled me off squatting because, you know, I used to squat 7, 8 plates aside, but it's just stupid now because I'm not a powerlifter. I'm just going to hurt myself. You know, lifting just for Instagram and Facebook is bullshit. I've got a lot more from, you know, less squatting, more leg pressing and more machine squats than I ever have, you know, actual free bar squats. So, you know, these obviously they don't know what they're doing. So, you know, every time I'm doing a back session or a leg session, I text them, what am I doing today? And that's it. The chest and shoulders and arms, they just leave me to do my own thing, you know.
And let's take legs, for example. When your coach kind of gives you the movements for that session, do the movements change all the time? Or for the most part, do you kind of go through like a phase where you do the same movements over and over again, let's say for legs? What does that look like, Nathan?
Every session is different. So it's a lot of feet placements as well. So, you know, I'll text chemo or something and I say, bro, what was today's leg session? He said, look, we're going to work on a lot more inner quad, outer quad, for example. You know, we want the feet 10 and 2, want the feet close in this one, want the feet wide. But everything I was doing myself, I think was doing wrong because every time I was doing a leg session, I was doing heavy squats, heavy leg pressing, and keeping all my feet, you know, straight, a slight kick out, you know, and my knees were literally fucking battered. You know, now that I listen more, my knees are healthy again. You know, it's a lot more feet positions. Like I'll do one exercise where it's 10 and 2, you know, shoulder width. The next one I'll do like a hack squats, for example, and it's a close stance with feet parallel. And then I could go back to a wide leg press and a single leg press. So that we want, and then the week after, you know, it could be like a machine squat into a pendulum. The only thing I don't do is lunge. I physically just can't lunge because my knees just give way. So for me, it's unproductive to lunge. You know, I do exercises regarding that. So every session is different. I never do the same leg session for more than a week, basically.
And is that kind of how the rest of your training is? Like you said, you do your own chest, shoulders, arms. Do you kind of always switch it up when you have your own choice, or do you kind of keep the same movements when you are choosing your workouts?
If I'm doing a chest, I try and aim for free pressing movements, you know, fly, and I always finish off on the cable because I like the pump of it. So, you know, if I feel strong, I'll hit bench press. I won't video it because my coach doesn't like when I do bench press. He hates it. He'd rather me do a Smith machine or a machine press. He fucking hates me doing bench. So you won't catch me recording bench press no more because or if I do bench, he goes, oh no, just do 2 plates aside. To where me, I'm like, nah, I like to go to 4 or 5 plates aside. You know, I want to feel that shit. I want to fight and I want to struggle. So, but he doesn't like it. He says, it makes him cringe when he sees me lifting it, which is good because at the end of the day, I'm a product of him. And obviously he wants to see me do well. If I get injured, then obviously it fucks his chances of ever getting an Olympia title and stuff. So, you know, I always like to do a bench press and then I go to like, you know, whether it's like a decline machine press and then I'll do a fly and I'll do another machine press and then I'll do a cable, something like that. Things like 7 sets of cable or something. And then that's me for chest. Shoulders, I will always do a press at the beginning and a press second to last. I'll do 6 exercises. And then 1 week I'll focus more on front delt. week after focus more on re-adult. That's how I'll go. You know, I'll always do a sad alt anyway, but you know, I always like to do either one week I'll do 2 fronts, one week I'll do 2 rears.
What does your rep range kind of look like, or is it all over the place?
I don't aim. I aim for no less than 8 reps for everything to do. Most things are 10. If I can't get 8, then it's too heavy. I don't believe in one rep maxes. I don't believe in 6s and 2 force reps with your partner. You know, if you can't get 8, then don't fucking do it. Go lighter in my eyes.
Yep, perfect. So you mentioned opening up a gym or having your own gym. When did you open up that gym? And then kind of like, what has owning your own business, owning a gym, what has that kind of taught you? What lessons have you taken from that, Nathan?
So we opened my own gym 3 years ago, Proxy Performance Center, where I live. We're on the verge of extending it now, an extra 10,000 square feet. And we're also on the verge of making a number 2. For me, I'd done it because I opened it originally because the gym I was training at was like a budget gym, you know, like your Planet Fitness and shit. But over here we call them JD gyms and DWs. They were just like a $10 gym. It had all, you know, not even Life Fitness. It had like shit Star Trek, just shit machines, you know. And so the machines weren't the best, basically. So for me, I've been to Oxygen. I opened the gym. I opened it originally just for myself. I bought all the machines. I didn't want customers in there. I bought the unit. I was, you know, financially stable. So I thought, okay, the gyms cost me so much money. The rent is only £3,000 a month. I can afford not to have members, so I don't really give a fuck who comes and who doesn't. I'll open it myself. When I open the gym, people just come. They wanted, like, they told their friend, and then it got around to being a business. I didn't want it to be, but it got around to being a successful business. And you know, it's learned me a lot, basically, to set up for life, because I will retire from bodybuilding at a very young age. You know, I don't plan on doing this for more than 5 more years. No way. So it's allowed me to, you know, set up business for life, give me introductions that I never had. So, and it's also learned me a few life lessons, you know, what I need to do to be more successful, what I need to do to improve, and what I need to do to, you know, to basically to get further in life in where I am today.
So talk to the person that's you know, a younger individual listening to you share your story, Nathan, that wants to maybe you know, start their own gym, or they're getting into coaching, or they want to start their own personal training business. What words of wisdom from your experience of opening up a gym could you say to that individual that is wanting to start their own business, their own gym, what have you?
I'd say take in your clientele, know what you're good at, you know, pursue that. Don't try and jump down every single avenue. You know, if you know you can, you know, you're good with females or males, stick with one of them. Don't try and be greedy. You know, you can be more successful with less people than the more people. If you're being a coach, if you're looking to open a gym, you know, take in your surroundings. You know, never copy someone else. Buy what you like. Have the gym as your baby. You know, even though it's a business, buy the things you want, but also bear in mind that people, not everyone's the same as you. Not everyone wants to say the same look as you. So you want to be more successful. You know, have more versatility within the business. So if you're get the best machines if you can, you know, you can buy them secondhand or whatever. But at the same time, make sure that you get a lot of people who are versatile. Whether you get your older mum, your dad, but make sure you are there as a meet and greet. So I own my gym. You know, people say, why are you here? You're a top Olympian. Because my gym, you know, I work shifts in the gym. People want to see the owner. You want to be more, you know, they want that face-to-face interaction. Give them that. People will respect it more. And just give them a conversation. You know, you ain't gonna be the friend. Just talk to them. If your name's Sean, hey Sean, how's your day? That could do a lot for somebody, rather than just scanning in and being just another number on someone's list. People would rather know that they're worth something than worth nothing. So bear that in mind. And if you take that in mind, you'll be successful very, very fast.
Excellent, man. I love those words. From your perspective, what's like the best, one or two, lines of equipment out there? Meaning like what brands do you really like in terms of equipment, that we have out there, today?
Oh man, I can't choose. I got three to be honest.
Go for it.
Panata. It's a lot more. It's a lot more. It's like it's not. It's less hardcore looking. So your women won't be more afraid of the machine. It's more pleasant. It's a lot more curvy. It's smoother than you see this old hammer strength. So that's pleasing for myself, and it looks smart, and women like it. Also, I like a lot of Jim Leco. For the guys in Europe, our facilities aren't as big as the guys in the US. So, the service area of the machines are small, but the machines are heavy, and they do the duty. Also, for myself, I love Atlantis. I think Atlantis do a lot of great equipment. The only downside to living in Europe is that it's fucking expensive to get over, shipping wise. But they're my free go-to. That's what we have in my gym. We have more as well, but they're my best free manufacturers at the moment.
Cool. You've got your Hostile shirt on. Talk about your relationship with Fuad. I know you're on his podcasts pretty regularly now, which is great. But talk about your relationship with Fuad and the opportunity he's given you to be a Hostile athlete.
Well, to be honest, mate, when I met Fuad, we here where I was watching Luke Sando on his podcast. Obviously, Luke passed away. I don't think Fuad liked me that time, to be honest. I messaged him saying, the podcast has been a little bit shit lately, but he had AJ Sims on it. It was a fucking badass. It was a badass episode. We learned a lot from it. Do more like this. And he explained, look, things change, not whatnot. I'm saying, look, I'm just giving my perspective, A few months down the line, the podcast got better and better and better. And then obviously, he knew I was getting back on the stage and stuff. He knew what my personality was about, in regards to keeping my gym open over the COVID stuff and what my personality was like. I said something like, he's like, oh, you're a hostile individual. You go good with the brand. I said, yeah, cool. I'm down for it. Sign the contract. And he was like, to be honest, Nathan, I thought you'd be a bit of a twat to work with. I thought you'd be hard working. You wouldn't do nothing for the brand. You wouldn't do, would need to kick up the ass. He said, but to be fair, mate, you're actually good. You're not arrogant. You do the work, what needs to be done, and so forth. I said, it is what it is. I may come across that way, but at the end of the day, mate, it's like it's business. We work together, we're good together, and that's what it is. And we got on well, mate. To be honest, from the word go, I can talk to him about anything. If things happen in my life, I can talk to him about it. We let him on the podcast to say that what the fuck I want. He's not one of them bosses where you have to please and be a yes man and we have to watch what we say. He said, look, bro, I'm a bodybuilder. I understand what it takes. And just be yourself. All we're asking you to be is, just wear a brand that supports bodybuilders. We get the best supplements out there, which, is not a lie, sponsored by them. I wouldn't sign if I didn't believe in the brand. The products are there. They speak for themselves, and the numbers they're doing right now is unbelievable. So he's like, look, do your thing. You ain't gonna come on the podcast every week. Just be you, and that's all we want is you to be you. And for me, that sold me. Because sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do. But if someone says to yourself, come on board and be yourself, what more can you ask for? And to go with it, you get a paycheck, and then you get a good boss, and then you get to go back and forth and have a banter. And we've got a great team of guys there at the squad, and his wife Summer, she does most of the work more than Fuad. But I believe it's a good family, and I think he's trying to build a solid foundation. He's given back to the bodybuilding community, to where a lot of companies, they just want to use the athlete and take for them what they want rather than be there for what they need. And I respect that. And he's a guy like myself. He speaks he says what he thinks. So to me, I couldn't say no, really.
Very, very cool, man. Do you have any regrets in life up to this point, Nathan?
Not regrets. I won't say regrets, really. No. If I regretted it, I wouldn't be the person I'm today. I believe so. I've learned. I'd rather live and learn than not live at all, basically. So I can't regret it. If I regret things I've done, say I turn back time, I wouldn't have my son, I wouldn't have my daughter, I wouldn't be where I am today. I've learned a lot of things. That I can say that. I've seen a lot of things, but as for regretting it, no. Some things I could have done better, but I wouldn't say I regretted it. No.
So speaking to that, and I want to get off of bodybuilding just for a minute, because, that's kind of like, the name of my podcast is Behind the Muscle, right? So yeah. I like to talk about life a little bit, because you know what? You put your shoes on just like I put my shoes on. You're a pro bodybuilder. I'm not, right? But we're all human beings, and we all have feelings and emotions and ups and downs and struggles, and there's life to be lived outside of bodybuilding. It's not everything. So in speaking to that, like outside of bodybuilding, what is an area just within your own personal life that you want to get better at or improve in? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've improved on, holding grudges. I used to be a person who held a grudge a lot. I'm a person who cut someone out of my life very quickly. I don't want to change that, because if I cut them out, I come up for a reason, and I don't see the reason going back. But I'd like to improve on, being there for people more, understanding people's, not emotions, but what they need as well at the same time. I think I've improved on that slightly, because I wasn't a selfish person in life, but since I own a business, I see a lot more faces come from the door. I understand people a lot more. I understand that people come from different backgrounds than myself. At the same time, people have different struggles, right? Which now I massively understand that. Like I said, with me keeping my gym open, it wasn't a matter of, fuck the governments and stuff. It was a matter of, I understood what my community needed. And I give that back to them. And that's what I want to be known for, just for giving back. Not that I give everything back, I don't, because obviously I want something myself, right? That's undeniable. But I want to be, a person for the people to say, oh yeah, he done this. Okay, I don't want to be, oh yeah, on social media, he get this, he get that, because a lot of things I do, I don't post on it. I believe if you're doing something for a goodwill, you shouldn't post on it. You like these boxers like Anthony Joshua going around giving people money, but you're posting on Instagram. If you're posting, then what the fuck are you doing it for? And people to be like in my community, like, oh yeah, that's Nathan. He done this, he done that. I don't have to say, oh, I've done this. I want people to remember he's done this, he's done that. He was there for the people. And people right now, they remember him around the country for the guy who stood for the gyms, the guy who got beat up by the police for standing for what he believes in. And that's just what I want to improve on, just being more truthful to myself, and experience a lot more life experiences.
Going back to your kids, because I know that is your life, that is your world, that's everything to you. What would you like to leave with your kids, or what would you like your kids to kind of remember you for? And then also with that, kind of like, what do you want to pass on to your kids? Like, when your time's up and your kids just have memories of their dad, like, how do you want to be remembered towards your kids? What do you want to pass along to them?
I want to remember that my dad tried everything he could. He was good to them. He was there for them. When they were crying, he was there. When they were successful, he was there. And I want to be that dad that he can talk to. Like I said before, I didn't know my dad, so I couldn't talk to him. I didn't have no one there to talk to. I want them to be there to talk to me. That's part of the reason why I'll walk away from the sport at a young age. I don't want to be this big 300-pound guy who can't run with my son, because that's not something I want to do. I want to be able to run, take memories with my son, go do this and do that. I want my kids to look back and be like, yeah, that's my dad. He done this, he done that, and I want to leave them with values that I cherish, look out for other people, don't be selfish, be there for others. My son does that already, For example, he understands he's not to be a bully, but to bully the bully. He's a big guy, a big kid for 8 years old, and his friends know if they get hit, go and see Nathan. He'll never hit no one first, but if he hits his friend, then obviously he'll fuck you up. Also, my son knows, like, the value of money, the purpose of life. He's only 8 years old. For example, it was his birthday last week, 2 weeks ago. And I said to him, what do you want, mate? And he goes, Dad, I don't want nothing. So why? He goes, because I'm healthy. I have a roof over my head and have food on my table. That's all I need. So for an 8-year-old kid to say that, to me, I believe in doing a good job in raising him right, because he knows that materialistic things don't mean nothing. He knows, health is everything. And he knows he's on the right track to be a better person than I ever was, So if I can make my kids better than me, and obviously they make their kid better than them, I'm believing in a better legacy.
For the young man that's listening to this right now that doesn't have a dad or a strong male influence in their life, what would you say, or what do you want to say to that young person?
I'd say surround yourself with positive people. If you didn't, like, for me, if I was from a neighborhood where there was no positive people, there were just criminals, where people want to call you a sellout or whatnot, go and see people who have made success of their lives. Go and see small business owners, look up to them, ask them what they done. Just because you didn't have nothing, it doesn't mean you can't have nothing. Aim to succeed, aim to earn every penny. Whether you make a penny or a pound, there's a pound or a penny you made more than you would have 10 minutes ago. Don't be scared to fail. It's just a part of life. Without failing, we can't succeed. So, realize this, and I believe you will get far. We've all have struggles, we have ups and downs, but life is only short. Live it and remember it.
What are your thoughts on the Olympia this weekend for open men's bodybuilding?
I believe it's good. You never know what's going to happen. You've seen at the Arnold Classic. It was apparently the best lineup in so many years, but a lot of the guys look like a bag of dicks. No one was doing in shape. Nick Walker was the only kid who come in shape. Only person who held the pose. He's the only person who was ready to fight. So you never know what's going to happen. A lot of these guys will spill or come on, or won't come in 100%. But for me, I believe it'll be a good Olympia. I believe it'll be a battle in the top 4. Which will be good if they all come on. I can see, Rami 80% on, 20% off. You never know what's going to happen. Hopefully he's on. The other guys, are going to be there. It's going to be a good showing, I believe. I don't think it'll be the best showing. I believe it'll be a good showing. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I can't be there, but I'm going to watch, see what they bring, see what the judges are after for myself next year. And just hopefully, hopefully the fans and stuff get behind the guys, and they support them, even though your guy mightn't win it, and there's only one winner. But support everyone who's in it, rather than be bitchy and slag everyone off on social media and Instagram and say he wasn't in shape and this and that. End of the day, these guys are the fucking best in the fucking world at what they do. So whether or not they're in shape, it don't matter. They're there because they're the best. Support them, and just be more supportive.
Do you personally believe Rami's going to repeat then this year?
Yeah, I don't believe there's anyone there. I can see and what I've heard, it's going to be Nick Walker fighting with Rami. But I don't believe he'll get it just yet, because, he's just come in, a young lad, taking the Olympia. It's not going to happen. You win the New York Pro, you win the Arnold, fucking absolutely immense what he's done. But to come in and win the Olympia as well, the main 3 shows in that order, no one's ever done it. They're not going to let no one do it. So, it's going to be Rami. Well, fuck, if he wins it, it's fucking better for us, isn't it? Because we can beat him. It's one of them. Rami, I think you have more of a force to beat Rami than you would Nick. Not that Nick's not a bad athlete, because he's a great athlete, but I think people will look and think, I can beat this kid. You look at Rami and think, this cunt's a fucking freak, right? Okay, Nick's a freak, but you look at him, it's different type of levels, right? You're thinking, I can beat Nick. He's doable. Justin Rodriguez came close at New York, but he wasn't 100%. And you think, yeah, I can beat this. But you see Rami like, ugh. But then Rami comes in off, then the guys could take him. Same with Hadi and William. Obviously, as an athlete, I want Rami to get beat, because if he gets beat, it opens the door for everyone else, right? But I just can't see it right now.
Cool, man. All right. So Nathan, I want to be respectful of your time. We've been going just a little over an hour. So I want to wrap it up here. We've had a really thorough conversation. I appreciate you again, taking some time to chop it up with me. Do you have any kind of final thoughts or final words that you want to leave with the listeners today?
Guys, you know, if you listen today, all I say is be the best person you can be, you know, stay true to yourself, stay with your loved ones. End of the day in life, these people are going to be there for your ups and downs. You know, don't be one of these people who are on social media begging likes and hype, because when you fall, these fuckers will fucking kick you when you're down, you know. Your family, the ones who are there to pick you up. Be strong. Don't be scared to fail. You know, think positive. At the end of the day, like I said before, you know, life's short. Live it. Enjoy it. Don't take things too serious. And at the end of the day, make sure what you're doing, you do it 100%. And just enjoy life. Have a smile. Have no regrets. And always think, I done that. And I believe, you know, you'll live a happier, better life.
All right, my man. Where can people connect with you on social media?
Yeah, I want to get on my social media. It's Nathan DeAsha 2. Or if you want to get on Facebook, nowadays it's still going. It's IFBB, The Prophecy. If you hit me up, even if you DM me, I get back to 97%, 95% of you guys. Even if it's just a like or a thumbs up, I'll try and respond to everyone. You know, I'm just like you guys. Just a normal fucking kid going to the gym at the end of the day. So, you know, bear with me and we'll get back to you regarding what it is. Unless you ask a fucking stupid ass question about supplements, then obviously you get blank. But if you want a conversation or you want a bit of advice, just hit me up and I'll be there.
I do have one last question. The Prophecy, where did you get that nickname from, or how did that come to be?
A guy from a city close by in Wales called Wrexham basically said, you know, we were training one day. He was like, we should call you the real deal. I was like, nah, I didn't know what the real deal was. Obviously, looking back now, it's Chris Cormier, right? Which is fucking mad coincidence. And then a week later, I won the British, and then he started to call me the Prophecy. I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't give a fuck. And then it just stuck. It just stuck from like a guy just taking the piss. And I'm like, why the Prophecy? Is like, because I believe your physique is, you know, what the bodybuilding industry needs. It's pleasing. It's not freaky. You can dress in normal clothes and look like a normal guy, but you get on stage, you look like a freak. And, you know, this is what a Prophecy, something to come true. And he believed that I could be an Olympia champion. So it just stuck from there.
Excellent, man. Nathan, thank you so much, dude, for chopping up with me, taking some time. And just like you said just a minute ago, man, you know, if people reach out to you with legit questions or want to connect, I mean, I'm just a guy in the United States that sent you a random DM, and here we are chopping up on the podcast. So I appreciate genuinely just the breath of fresh air that you are, just keeping it real, speaking your mind. It's greatly appreciated from my perspective, how you just kind of keep it real. And thank you so much again for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, buddy. Anytime, mate. No
Excellent.
problem.
Listeners, thank you so much for once again listening or watching. If you're on YouTube, the Behind the Muscle podcast, your listening ears are always greatly appreciated. Two things I would just ask of you, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Why is that important? Because I release all of these podcasts first on YouTube, and then I go to the other podcast platforms. And then the second favor, take this episode and share it on all your social media platforms. It was super cool for Nathan, a top Olympian, to come on the podcast. Just keep it real with us, share his story, share some of his life wisdom and lessons. So make sure you, when you share this episode on your social media platforms, tag Nathan, tag myself. That would be really, really awesome. I'd appreciate it. And then finally, I will leave you all with this. Remember, behind the muscle, there's always a story. We'll catch you guys later.